Although much of the company's recent growth has come from its large display sets, LEGO has never given up on what made it a household name in the first place: play. Let's explore LEGO's most brilliant play features. To start things off, we're going back in time a bit to the early 2000s. A fan named Today in Tour mentioned the old Orient Expedition sub-theme from the LEGO Adventurers line. This theme was absolutely packed with incredible play features, and picking only a handful was a challenge, but here are some of the coolest ones. Starting off with set number 7411, Tiger's Roar, we've got a small set with a super neat trick. This 94-piece set came with one minifigure and this admittedly goofy-looking tiger big fig that looks like something out of a Duplo set. He's quite a chunky piece of plastic. While this is certainly a unique figure, he's hardly the star of the show. About halfway through this set's 16 steps, you'll need to assemble a small sub-build that easily slides into place on the main structure. Next, you're told to take 8 1x4 brown tiles and place them gently on top of the opening in the center. This is an unusual step as these parts aren't connected to anything at all, but that's the entire point. It seems that our intrepid hero here is poking around at the wrong place, and the mighty Tigra guarding the temple is not happy about it. Once the treasure has been taken, Dr. Kilroy here will need to sprint towards the exit, because as we all know from movies, every hidden temple is full of traps, and this one is no exception. As soon as the bold doctor tries to escape, the floor begins to give out, leaving him scrambling for more solid ground. This set on its own is pretty small, but it does make for a fun playset. LEGO has added a similar feature to other sets as well, such as the Ninjago Lava Falls set, which accomplishes the same task using some brown track links and a Technic rod underneath. Not to be outdone, but set number 7417, the Temple of Mount Everest, has a few awesome play features hiding deep within its halls. Once you've managed to climb the treacherous mountain, all that's left to do is cross the rickety old wooden bridge to reach the temple grounds. Easy, right? Well, think again. Simply remove a small Technic rod from the base of the bridge and the entire thing can be easily flipped over, dumping any would-be treasure hunters into the icy ravine below. Also, I can't talk about this without mentioning just how cool these giant bridge pieces are. These used to be pretty common back in the 1990s and early 2000s, but sadly they were retired many years ago. However, once you've managed to cross the bridge, you're still not out of the woods quite yet, as there's another trap waiting to ambush anyone foolish enough to rush in. There's a small rubber band holding up 2 axes, and all it takes is a simple flick of the wrist to send them both crashing down directly into the face of any reckless adventurer. But even if you manage to dodge those axes, there's still one last surprise waiting for you. A not-so-hidden trap door. However, it just so happens that you're now right next to the hidden treasure, this legendary golden sword. Next up, you need to look at this set. This is the Dragon Fortress, which came with 742 parts, including this gorgeous base plate, which only ever appeared in this color pattern for this set. But the thing that really earns this build a spot in today's video is what happens when someone tries to steal the dragon's treasure. Anyone who isn't deemed worthy is in for a surprise when they open the central treasure chest as a load of massive rocks dump from the ceiling, crushing them in their tracks. Yikes. Also, I can't talk about the amazing play features from the Orient Expedition line without mentioning set number 7418, the Scorpion Palace. This might be my favorite set from the entire sub-theme, and it's also got the coolest play feature of them all. So there's a lot to talk about, but to keep things simple, let's take a look at the giant dome on top. That's a pretty cool piece by itself and was only ever released in 4 sets, with this being its only appearance in white. The really neat thing though is what's inside of that dome. If you look at it from the back, you'll notice a giant boulder hiding in there, next to a set of rails. Well, I wonder what that's all about. With a single action, it's possible to send this massive rock hurtling down on any trespassers. Like everything else about this line, this was very clearly inspired by a certain whip-wielding archaeologist, and the results are just perfect. Another incredibly underappreciated theme focused on play was Nexonites, as mentioned by World Frandom. I personally remember when these sets were being released, and I loved how well they blended incredible displayability and incredible play features. One of the best sets from this line has got to be Jestro's Volcano Lair. This was the second largest set ever released under this banner, and oh man, did LEGO knock it out of the park here. Not only does this set look fantastic on a shelf, but it's also got several amazing play features. For one, there are stairs and ladders everywhere. That might sound like a tiny detail, but it makes it easy to pose the set's 10 minifigures into some impressive battle scenes. Looking at this build from the front though, perhaps the most striking feature is the giant pit of bright orange lava right in the center. As cool as it is to look at, that's just the beginning. Deep in the middle, there's a giant creepy mouth full of teeth waiting hungrily for its next meal. Once it's snatched up some unlucky prey, the mouth can spin by rotating a small crank on the side. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone just walk into a giant mouth in the middle of a lava pit? And well, that's a fair point. But it seems that Jestro thought of that too, because just above the lava pit, there's a platform that, when walked on, drops out, plunging our hero into a fiery grave. Just to the side of the lava pit, there's a stairway leading up to Jestro's throne, and this is possibly my favorite bit from this set. Tucked just behind the stairs, there's a massive saw blade that swings out to catch any intruders by surprise. This thing can actually spin pretty fast, and I know I'd be thinking twice about my decisions if I ever hear that revving up. Next up, a fan named Barrow mentioned the titanium command rig from the Power Miners line, and oh man, this is a good set. The build is surprisingly large for only 700 pieces in the set, and it's full of great play features. The most notable thing about this vehicle is what happens when you push it forward. The drill actually rotates as the rig progresses forward. The whole mechanism is super cool, and you'll notice that the drill is made up of 2 separate pieces spinning in opposite directions. They even rotate at different speeds. It's very neat. LEGO has used this in multiple other sets over the years as well. But specifically on the back of this set, there's an entire crane that swings around, moves in and out, and has a fully functioning winch. There's also a range of missiles and turrets scattered around, but the real star of the show is that this massive rig transforms. Just pull out a small rod and the entire length of the vehicle slowly slides upwards, turning this thing into a stationary deep core mining machine. Oh, and I can't ignore the prisoner's cell deep inside the rig that can be moved in and out via the crane I mentioned earlier. Another fan favorite from this theme is the Crystal Sweeper, which proves that cleaning up can be fun. This set has a few small play features like moving turrets and flickfire missiles, but obviously the main thing worth talking about is the set's core feature, its giant sweeper. Power mining is messy work, and you're sure to drop a few bits of precious crystal here and there. Well, this vehicle is here to help. Just drive the sweeper over a few bricks and they get effortlessly swept up and fly into the bucket. Power Miners released 3 full waves of impressive sets, but one more set that I specifically want to mention is the brilliant and super fun underground mining station. Much like the titanium command rig, this set is pretty big for only having 600 parts, and also like the rig, it's packed with fun play features. Starting things off with a little defense, this giant turret has 4 TNT-loaded flickfire missiles. This thing rotates a full 360 degrees and angles up and down to provide total cover to the Power Miners. Speaking of, they're down here to get some work done, and this set is all about production. Starting off, the Power Miners dump crystals into a cart attached to this suspended cable. At the other end, this giant green wheel can be spun to slowly carry the haul up to the loading chamber. Once the cart reaches the top, a pin catches on a hook and pulls down on a rubber band, which dumps the load down a chute and into the truck waiting below. Now, moving from underground to up in the sky, 2007's Fast Flyers from the Creator 3-in-1 line has one really neat little trick that was pointed out by a fan named Christina662. In the set's primary build, the fighter jet has what's known as variable sweep wings, meaning that they can fold in or out into 2 positions just like the F-14 Tomcat. Another cool set with some folding action going on is the criminally underrated Desert Challenge from 2009. With only 144 parts, there's not a lot that a set can do, but this one pulls it off so well. This set was actually part of a small theme called Tiny Turbos, which seemed to be a direct response to Hot Wheels and other portable car toys at the time. Each of these 10 sets came with one of these unique container pieces, which served as both a box and a playmat. Each one folded out and, with a bit of decoration, turned into a unique play zone. Overall, the theme was actually a flop and didn't last too long, but I love it when LEGO takes these bold swings, even if they sometimes strike out. Moving on, a viewer named Gib told me about a really cool feature hiding in the Gringotts Wizarding Bank. Deep in the vault, there's a very special goblet that once belonged to Helga Hufflepuff. Anyone daring enough to attempt a robbery will have to contend with some extra security, as there's a little surprise waiting for anyone who touches the cup. When touched, the cup multiplies, sending identical duplicates all over the room. There's even a hole just above to reload the cups after triggering the mechanism. Now, moving to the water, since LEGO minifigures float, Vacation Batman from the LEGO Batman Movie Collectible Minifigures series has a super fun play feature if you position him correctly. There are 3 different ways to help Batman enjoy his swimming experience. You can lean him back as if he was chilling in the pool, or you can remove his legs and carefully balance him on top of his yellow floaty. You may need to make careful adjustments to balance his weight though. However, if you want to keep his legs on, you can attach him to a transparent clear brick and stick him in some rocks, sand, or fish tank gravel, as shown here by Minifig Price Guide. But of course, I can't talk about play features without mentioning Ninjago. This line has been one of LEGO's most successful themes ever, and these sets are almost all about play. One set that I feel doesn't get talked about enough is the impressive Monastery of Spinjitzu from 2019. This 1,070-piece build might not be as big or bold as some of the massive Ninjago City modular sets, but it's got its own charm and some very cool play features. One of the coolest might be what happens when an unworthy guest tries to touch Master Wu's teapot. This gear in the back activates a very well-hidden trap that's sure to stop anyone in their tracks. Just next to that, there's another bit of treasure that's sure to leave thieves with a little more than they bargained for. Anyone stepping too close is likely to trigger an attack by Master Wu's pet chicken. But you see, there are a lot more LEGO sets with incredible play features. Click here right now to see them, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more LEGO videos.